It sure is a good day to be alive. Thanks for joining us on Flipside this amazing day. I'm Daisy Leo Sikidi, your host, and today we're going to be focusing a whole lot on food. Now, food is so important, it's so crucial for existence that the United Nations even has a full day to talk about food. There is a World Food Day that comes up on the 16th of October every year, where you have over 50 countries marking that day with messages on it with over 150 languages online. So it's a big event because food is very crucial for survival. And this year, the year 2024, the United Nations decided that they are going to focus their team on food for a better future and a better life. Now, so from food tasting or cooking demonstrations to music performances, roundtables, or even simply spreading the word, everyone tries to partake of the World Food Day. And in the year 2022, about 2.5 billion adults, that's people who are 18 years and above, the United Nations said they were overweight and we are hungry. And out of this 2.5 billion, 890 million were living with obesity. 37 million children also under the age of 5 were overweight. Then, according to the United Nations statistics, over 2.8 billion people in the world are unable to also afford a healthy diet. It's not like they're not eating. 2.8 billion people cannot afford a healthy diet. Now, healthy diets are diverse, balanced in energy intake, adequate in all nutrients, and moderate in the intake of unhealthy foods. Now, we also have a statistics that says some 22.3% children under the age of 5 are too short for their age, meaning they are stunted. That is the word that was used. And then we also heard that 6.8% are too thin for their height, meaning they are wasted. So it goes on and on and on, the statistics from the United Nations page on World Food Day, on how crucial it is for us to come into this matter and help people. Around 733 million people are facing hunger in the world. The reasons being weather shocks, conflicts, economic downturns, inequality, and even pandemics. So it's just a whole lot of problems, and that's how we have to deal with these issues. So today, on Flipside, we brought a food expert, someone who's going to be helping us on how we can be healthy. We don't want our children to be overweight. We don't want them to be too thin for their height, to be wasted. We don't want them to be unhealthy. We need them to be healthy and safe. In as much as we want to deal with hunger, we are going to be promoting healthy eating and safe feeding on the show. We're going to go on a break. When I come back from that break, you will meet my guest and we start talking on what we have for you today on Flipside. So my guest is here, of course, and she's seated in the studio. You've met her on the show once before, and we talked about healthy living. She's a healthy living consultant. She is an advocate for healthy diets. She's always out telling people how to be healthy, especially through food. She does a lot of exercise too, but food is a major area. I'm talking about Susan Dari. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
She's been very occupied, but I'm so glad we were able to pull her down today.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to talk about World Food Day, focusing on using food for a better life, right to food. And there's just so much hunger in Nigeria at the moment. From the statistics that the United Nations released, we saw that a lot of people, in as much as we're saying there's hunger, are overweight. And I'm wondering, if there's hunger, where are people getting the food to eat all of this? And the bulk of them are in countries where there's even poverty.
Yeah.
They are in underdeveloped nations. And then some are also, in those nations, you also find those that are too thin, that are malnourished, and all of these. With the severe hunger in the land, because we need a better life. What are some practical ways you would say we can promote sustainable eating habits in our daily life? Now, I know you talk a whole lot about healthy foods, but since it's here, you can't be telling me to be eating apple. It's not belly for me. But how can we promote sustainable eating habits in our daily life?
All right. So there was something you said about the fact that even with the fact that things are quite expensive, yes, we have a lot of overweight people. Now, beyond just the choice of food, it's the volume of food people consume and the kind of food people consume. So if these two things are actually in place, people will eat better. So as much as things are expensive, people are still eating more than required. People are still consuming one thing that actually is the main proponent for being overweight, and that's sugar. People are not overweight because they eat fatty foods alone, but they are also overweight because of how much they consume sugar. And natural sugars, refined sugars are in our daily food dietary choices. So if we're going to combat healthy eating and weight management, we need to also combat the use of sugar intake in our world today. Once there is a healthy balance in both, no matter the economic situation, people will make healthy choices. So, for example, people say things like, well, they can't eat apple every day, but they buy a lot of sugar drinks. There's been a rise in the intake of sugar drinks, junk intake. Oh, madam, please, can I just take hot puff and that, that drink? So as much as people don't eat so much food, but daily they are making dietary choices triggered or tailored towards sugar intake. So how do we make daily decisions as regards our diet and make the right ones? Is ensuring we eat the right things in the correct proportion. Now, things may be expensive, but people are overeating. So there's a place where people can overeat healthy foods, and it can contribute to weight gain. For example, we say things like, oh, rice is good, but one person decides to eat a cup of rice, or 2 cups of rice. Or, oh, bread is okay, you can eat bread healthily. Someone is eating a loaf. Someone is eating like 10, 12 slices of bread. So this, there's hunger in the land. But people are eating things that are contributing to their weight gain. And like I would tell people, this is the wrong time in the economy to be sick. Because cost of medications have gone up. I mean, medications that you buy before 4,000, 6,000, some of them are currently 10,000, 24,000. Yeah. You don't want to talk about hospital bills. So it means that regardless of the economy, you need to begin to see healthy ways to eat healthy foods and control sugar intake and ensure that there's a lifestyle balance to ensure that you don't fall ill in the season.
I can imagine. All right, healthy foods, healthy diet, balanced diet. Can we still achieve eating a balanced diet with the way Nigeria is today? And if we can, please, what's the key components of this balanced diet?
All right. Key components would include, most importantly, back to fruits and vegetables. Now, an ideal food plate should have more vegetables, more protein, and less carbs. But in our world today, we eat more carbs, less vegetables, less protein. So you see this tiny piece of meat, then plenty eba, and then tiny soup.
My brother, sorry to cut you short, when he relocated from the country at some point, he said in Nigeria, he now learned the difference between chicken and rice and rice and chicken. There's a difference. And then he explained it and we're all laughing. Okay, so in Nigeria we eat rice and chicken. But outside there they eat chicken and rice.
Here we eat rice and stew. When you should have stew and rice. So you need to have a healthy balance of vegetables. It includes your spinach, your eforiro, your okra, your cabbage, carrots and the likes. The truth is that when was the last time people really eat vegetables? They eat it like once in a while. We eat more of carbs. So that healthy food we're talking about is that you're ensuring that you eat lots of vegetables. The fruit, I know fruits have become quite pricey.
Very.
Very pricey. But they are cheaper than buying pizza. They are cheaper than, buying the soda drinks that we take and all of that. They are cheaper than some of the junk food we eat. So ensuring that daily could just be one orange. If you can't buy apple, buy orange. Buy cucumber 100 naira. Vegetable 200 naira. Just ensure that in every meal you eat, you have a good portion of vegetables. And for proteins, you can also do fish. If it's crayfish that you have, please put crayfish in your food. Just ensure that in the little ways you can afford, just find cheaper means to eat healthy foods. So vegetables should always be in all your meals and ensure that you are eating in good portions.
Interesting. All right, now let's talk about one of the major problems the United Nations decided to focus on this year, and that's food insecurity. So that's the problem with availability of food. They claim that the world is producing enough food to feed the world, but it is not in the production of the food, it's in the affordability of the food and the safety of the food. So how can the world help? How can individuals help address food insecurity in their communities?
All right. You mentioned two things: food safety and then food affordability. Now, of course, we live in it's already inflation. Things are very expensive. And when we tell people to eat healthy and they can't afford the food, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So it means that there has to be a lot of financial regulations to agriculture. Now, one of the things that actually have triggered why food is quite expensive, it's in the production actually and food distribution. For example, foods that come from northern part of Nigeria, you know, when you have to spend like 40, 50, 60,000 naira for transportation alone, obviously when the food gets to Benin, for example, it's going to be expensive. So it means that a lot of things need to be subsidized. A good example is fuel price. And honestly, fuel price has affected how everything is running, from production to sales and everything. So if, you know, it boils down to government policies, government interventions, foreign fundings and investments into the economy to ensure that production of food, food transportation, food sale. And another problem we have is that we live in a world where people are greedy. For example, sometimes these things there's a drop in price, but the average person in the market is still selling at the expensive rate. So we're dealing with people at all sectors, knowing that, see, if food is not available, people will be hungry, people will be sick, people will make bad dietary decisions, people will die from starvation. So there has to be interventions. Community-wise, we need to encourage more farming, more agricultural. You know, Nigeria needs to begin to realize that we have a lot to feed the nation in the country. So we need to see how we can do more farming, both local, you know, or large-scale farming, fundings. For example, this period that there was no light, how will people preserve? So imagine someone who is buying fuel for 1,000, 200, 300, 400. How will the person produce enough to feed people? So it cuts across different, both financial sector, both the agricultural sector, both light, everything needs to work together to ensure that we have food availability and proper food distribution.
Interesting. Okay, back to nutrition now, because someone was talking about meats, that there are some, that there are some myths, they are not truth about food and nutrition that we've held on to. And one of them, which I know you've addressed, is the fact that healthy foods are more expensive. And you've just told us you don't really have to go for the most expensive or the foreign foods. You can do healthy. But are there other myths about food you've heard in the course of helping people to live right and make better choices as regards food?
Yes. You just mentioned the major one, which is healthy foods are expensive. People also have the idea that you have to be on a diet to eat right. So for you tell someone to eat well, they tell you, I'm not trying to lose weight, or I don't have a health condition, or I'm not hypertensive. Eating right is not a punishment for weight loss. It's not a punishment for people who have health conditions. And we don't really have to wait till things get bad, because it looks like people don't take their health seriously until there's a medical emergency, until they are forced to, you know, do something as regards their health. And it shouldn't be like that. So it's actually a myth to say that, oh, I don't want to lose weight. Why should I eat healthy? Or this, enjoy your life while you're young and tell the story while you are old. It's another thing too. So people are quite careless because they feel like, oh, I'm still young. Why do I need to be more careful? And they forget that your old age is a sum total of your dietary life all through your youthful time. You know, it's like a summary. So those are myths that people have, that until you are on a diet or you are going through a health issue, people should not eat healthy. People also have the idea that, portion control is for weight loss. And that's another issue. So someone feels like, why can't I eat 12 slices of bread? After all, you know, I'm not
I'm
trying
slim.
to lose weight. I'm slim. There's this also I'm slim idea where people feel
Yeah.
like people that are healthy are slim people, and it's a lie. Not every person who is on the big side actually is big because of food issues. Some people have hormonal problems. Some are drug reactions. So many things are factored into why people are overweight. But slim people, please, apologies to you. But the truth is, you are not slim because you are healthy. You need to begin to evaluate your dietary decisions, because I know a lot of people that are slim and are heavily unhealthy. So don't use your body size as a yardstick to if you are healthy or not. Just ensure that you are eating well, your lifestyle is good, your food combination is good. So whether you are slim or not, eat well.
That's all right. I see a lot of movies where, especially the white people, they want to eat. The ladies have a thing for salads. You know, you just order a salad and maybe steak, which is just suya or beef. And you know, they're always going for salads and they always look so skinny. And I'm like, how do I manage my cultural foods, which are very nutritious
Yeah.
and so tasty and filled with so much spice and flavor in my mouth? Like, how do I live on grass? That's how I feel. You know, I can even deal with the cabbage salads.
Yeah.
Now the greens,
Yeah.
you know, you just have green peas, spinach, and like, what's it be this? You know, so but can we still achieve a healthy, nutritious lifestyle with while still embracing our culture, the cultural diversity in our food choices?
Yes, I would say Africa is blessed with a lot of nutritional diversities, from our unfe salads to our amalas,
Abacha.
to our black abacha,
Oh, good
to our
abacha.
black soups. You know, personally, I am a fan of Igbo soup. I love Igbo soups a lot. I mean, I like how they mix flavors with vegetables. Truth is, you don't have to live on cabbage, carrots, and green beans. It is so, especially in our African.
It's boring.
It is not just boring, it is non-sustainable. Because the truth is, the diversity in our diet actually contributes to why we are strong the way we are. From our vegetables, our natural spices. I like how in Africa we actually embrace natural spices. Our garlics, our ginger,
Nutmegs.
our peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, iru. You know, all of these things actually play major roles in our health, you know. And so to say you want to sustain one carrot, yeah, I'm sorry, you're not enjoying life. The most important thing is that you eat these things in adequate proportion. I think what we should preach more in Africa is how to actually do good proportioning of food. There's nothing wrong with the African diet. Our fufu, our amala, you know, there's nothing wrong in it. It's about eating it the ideal way, in the small portions. Just that sometimes people want to eat fufu, they eat like 4, 5, 6, 7 wraps. That's risky. You understand? So it's how we eat our African food that's the problem. But absolutely there is nothing wrong with it. Enjoy the African dish. For me, I call myself the African healthy living consultant because I'm trying to push the narrative of our African dishes are amazing. I mean, across cultures, across ethnic groups, across continents, across nations. Who would not like egusi soup? I mean, okra, ogbonot soup. Tell me, Eddie Kankon, afang. You know, I eat across states. So I love our African dishes. So it's for us to just ensure that we cook them well, we eat them well, and we ensure that we are not overeating this healthy food.
All right. Okay, so we're talking about rights to food for a better life. Everyone has a right to food. It is just so disheartening that in the world we live in, we also have people who cannot afford to eat, they cannot afford to buy food. They don't even have the resources. And when they do, they are not thinking about the right food. They are thinking about the quantity of food that can sustain them at the moment. But there's something I've also learned in the long run from speaking with Suzanne and several other persons. Most of the foods that you're rushing to go eat are actually the foods that make you more hungry.
Yeah.
You know, that you eat a full plate of rice, doesn't mean that in the next 30 minutes you won't be hungry. Like, you'll be wondering why. And then you have a smaller portion of maybe unripe plantain and vegetables, and you'll be very okay. Or you just had some fried eggs, avocado pear. Doesn't look like much, but you will not be hungry. Have you tried it before? But anyway, let's go have what the United Nations Secretary General has on the World Food Day. Let's take his message, and then we'll come back to start wrapping up this edition of the show.
Something is very wrong with a world in which hunger and malnutrition are a fact of life for billions of children, women and men. On World Food Day, we remind ourselves of the 733 million people who are short of food because of conflict, marginalization, climate change, poverty and economic downturns, including those who face the threat of man-made famine in Gaza and Sudan. Or the 2.8 billion people who cannot afford a healthy diet, including those who are overweight as global obesity rates soar. The good news is that a zero hunger world is possible. The 2021 Food Systems Summit set us on a course to tackle the inefficiencies and inequities built into our food systems. Food systems need a massive transformation with the contributions of businesses, academics, research institutions, and civil society to become more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. Governments must work with all partners to incentivize the production and sale of healthy, nutritious food at affordable prices. On World Food Day, let's step up the fight against hunger and malnutrition. Let's take action to uphold the right to food for a better life and a better future.
If you think this is unfair, 3 in 10 people do not know where their next meal is coming from, or if they're even going to get one. Things are only getting worse due to spiraling food costs, conflict, and climate change. Children who were once on the brink of escaping hunger have been pushed back into its deadly grip. Global hunger isn't about a lack of food. Right now, the world produces enough food to nourish every person on this planet. You can be part of the solution that ensures every child has enough nutritious food. Say you've had enough. Join the campaign to end child hunger and malnutrition in the world.
All right, we're talking about food and how the right to food can help us have a better life. And we talked about how important food is to us, and that's why the United Nations even has a day to talk about food. You have influencers, you have nutritionists, you have agriculturists, everybody coming together to talk about food. But you know, in all of this, we have so much hunger in the world. In 2023, conflict remained widespread and pervasive. Conflict was one of the major causes of hunger, and it's widespread, it's pervasive, and it's primarily driving almost 135 million in people in 20 countries to suffering acute hunger. Now, climate change is also another cause of this hunger. It's affecting rural dwellers. It's just dealing with a lot of people. Agricultural yields, you go to the farms. Like in Nigeria, climate change is a problem. We cannot predict our rains anymore. But there's also insecurity. It didn't come as one of the conditions in the United Nations list, but we do know that it's one of the reasons why we're having low yields as well. Climate change also leads to increasing pests and diseases, and we don't have as much lectures and trainings for farmers to understand how to protect their crops. And then let's talk about distribution is another problem. Before they bring these goods from the farms to the markets, a lot of them are destroyed. There are foods that should just be put in some refrigerated trucks. till they get to the market and then they transfer to maybe fridges and something. We don't have those. So just load everything in the truck. Whatever gets to the market good bears the cost of everything, both the destroyed and all. So it just goes on and on and on and on, and we're just dealing with a whole lot of problems. But in all of this, no matter how expensive food is, we must eat, and to eat, we have to eat right so we can survive. Now, I have Susan Derry in the studio with me. She's a health and living consultant. She talks about living right, eating right, and enjoying the process, most importantly. Now, these foods on the screen are not to tempt you, but to tell you that there's much to enjoy in life. So, Susan, we're back.
Yeah.
Now, for those of us who go to the stores to buy foods, what are some of the contents we should be looking out for in those things we're picking?
Okay, first of all, expiry dates. I find a lot of people don't check. Yes, this is 2024, and a lot of the products that we currently have are dated 2024. Something, yes, you need to look out for expiry dates. Secondly, the sugar component of these foods. It's so key. The sugar component. Some of these products we buy, sometimes they contain as much as, because normally a cube of sugar is about 4 grams. Some products are having like 50, 60, 70 grams of sugar. People don't know, yes. Sodium also, yes, people don't know sometimes. Some of our drinks, yes, for example, there's a particular drink, I will not mention name, that has up to 17 cubes of sugar. Yes, people don't know that. So sugar intake, preservatives, product too are, and that's why we need to be very careful. Too much chemicals in a product is enough to mess up your system. Now, people complain of hormonal issues, health crisis. It could stem from chemical preservatives used to store those foods. Sodium is another reason why high sodium intake is a major reason why people have high blood pressure.
Yeah.
You need to look out for that in the product you buy. So you need to do a proper assessment. And that's why personally I advocate for more natural products. Because we found out too that some of these fruit drinks people buy are not fruit drinks. They're chemicals, colorants, sweeteners. They just write fruit drink, apple drink. A lot of times there's no apple anything inside. So apple, no pineapple, all the fruits that they claim that are in these drinks are not present. So go for more natural food. You can easily attest to what you used to make your akara.
Yeah.
How did you make your rice and stew? How did you make your carrot sauce? You can talk about those things. It's easier for you to assess what you use to make these things. A lot of these products out there with labels sometimes are not actually what they say. And then people ingest this thing. We have high metabolic issues nowadays, autoimmune issues, diabetes, hypertension, heart conditions from these processed labeled foods. So in a world where we can't really attest to food safety, we need to be on the guard.
Interesting. Okay, I want to ask this question about eating seasonally. I don't know where I heard that from, but I heard it sometime in my life, that the foods that are, the way the person put it, I don't know where I heard this from, that God allows some fruits and foods come out at a particular season because they are going to combat sicknesses at that time. Are you of the same school of thought that we need to do the whole seasonal food thing? Because I don't know if they follow it abroad. I know there are times where tomato is cheap abroad, and there are times where it's a bit expensive, but there's never a time where you say you don't see it to buy. I want mango right now. I'm not going to find it in Nigeria to buy. So how do we address this seasonal food eating thing? Because when mango come out now, you're not going to tell me to be moderate. I'm going to eat and show up enough for 1 year. Yeah.
The funny thing is, foods are in their seasons. No matter how we want to hasten their ripening season or not. Because another problem is that trying to make them, they're fruits that actually should not come out more than once, twice a year. If you want to force them to get ripe, or you want to, because most of the things you see sometimes they are hybrid fruits where it looks like they cross. Yes, it happens like that. They just make it come out faster. Some fruits that don't have seeds, We don't have them in Nigeria because Nigeria, we are very religious with that, you know. So, for example, there are times that tangerine, for example, is currently in season. There are times where you don't see avocado.
Yeah.
You don't see, it's not in season. There are times when orange is in so much demand because it's in so much supply. There are times it looks like it. So fruits are in seasons. It's just for you to know what fruits are currently in season and eat them accordingly. It's not really because they are combating anything. All fruits play almost similar roles in our health. Provide fiber, help our immune system. But just enjoy the fruits in their season. And like you said, please don't stop for 1 year.
Oh my God.
Because even overeating fruits can be a problem.
Okay, so I do have two major questions now before we go. And that's talking about being vegan. You know, there are so many names out there, but this vegan thing seems to be a trend now. I was watching, she's an influencer, she's an actress, and she's vegan. She's gone vegan. She takes just vegetables, and she lives in Nigeria. And I'm wondering how she copes when she goes for Owambe. Like, you go for all of those parties, they're serving rishi roundabouts, and you can overcome that temptation. How sustainable is it to be vegan in Nigeria?
I think the question will also be, how healthy is it to be vegan? Because every food plays its own role when it comes to health.
Animal fats.
So animal proteins are very vital. For example, eggs are a product of animals, and they contain choline, very important for child development, brain development. So imagine now depriving yourself of crayfish, you don't eat fish, you don't eat chicken, you don't eat lean meat,
no
you
turkey.
don't eat, I don't know, a word we don't eat turkey should not really exist.
Exactly. I think I was
So
alone.
being vegan in Nigeria, sending you ox, but personally or healthily, every food plays its own role. To eat one food, and for example, people who just eat animal proteins alone, we come down with certain health issues along the line. People who eat only plants alone, protein, whatever, we have certain issues along the line. So there has to be a healthy balance of both animal proteins, animal foods, and plants. So to say you are a vegan in Nigeria, I don't know how you are coping. No? How do you deal with ogunfe? How do you deal with, goat meat? How?
Exactly. There's this one they make with goat meat head.
You see,
Oh my God. A life without that's some temptation.
Yes.
But I celebrate her. I celebrate her grace and how I'm just, every day I think about what exactly she eating. She takes a smoothie in the morning, all veggies, and then in the afternoon she's having maybe a salad, and in the evening she's having swallow but without meats. And I'm like, okay, good luck in your
Good luck to
endeavor. All right, and finally, healthy foods for children. You're a mom, I'm a mom, there's several parents out there. It's a struggle for parents to make, especially their toddlers, eat healthy foods. You know, you give my girl, she likes eggs. That's the only grace I have. You give her some veggies, she's looking at it like, why do I have to eat this green thing? I don't want it. So how do you encourage children to eat healthier foods? And because child obesity is also a problem in the world.
Okay, so first of all, we encourage parents to start early. Okay, start early. It could be from soups where you have to introduce vegetables. Then for children, habit is a thing that, like I said, start early before they are 1, blending fruits for those children. Then also be versatile in food choices. Okay, because another thing is, how are these veggies cooked is another problem. A child that is really learning how to eat, you have packed plenty crayfish, you have packed the old thing, they will not be interested. So children like it being colorful. So it could be that maybe today you want to do curry sauce and rice, you want to boil your carrots, for that child. And also be patient. Even as adults who are struggling with healthy eating.
chocolates
So
with
how much
children.
more children? You have to be patient with them. You know, introduce today, the child rejects it, wait a while, then do it again. We don't have a choice than to ensure that they eat healthy. You want to blend fruit for them. Sometimes they reject these things. You find another way again. That's why you have to be versatile when it comes to this thing. Is it possible to blend this vegetable into something else? Is it possible to maybe stew it better, mix it with this? Maybe you want to do more salads. You just find it, for example, you say your daughter likes egg. Maybe you want to find a way you just, mix the whole thing with eggs. Sometimes tell stories. We have to just find a way for these children. Sometimes even my son does it. We just pick the thing and say, Mom, you drop it down for me. Then sometimes he takes it. So we just keep trying until. But the key thing is that we are very careful with how much they consume sugar and junk food. We don't really have an option. We keep introducing this healthy food to them until they become accustomed to it. It may not be easy, especially if your child is one who has not been doing it before. But just keep introducing it. Like I said, you want to blend fruits more. You want to do more soups. You want to put them in stews, whichever way. But we encourage that. Allow your children to start early. And healthy children, healthy adults, healthy habits early, it becomes a lifestyle.
That's right. All right, so we're already at the point where we're ending this conversation today. Right to food for a better life. We want a healthier life. We want a better life. We want to be able to enjoy our foods all through our lives. We don't want to be told that because we're 60, something we used to love, because of health now, we can't eat it anymore. I want to be able to eat like my dad ate till he passed, He ate everything. My dad still had chocolate drinks before he passed. He was also very good at portion control though. Maybe because he was very exposed, but I see a lot of elderly people where they tell them, you have diabetes, so you don't take this anymore. You eat only cocoyams, you don't eat pounded yam.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, so we want to eat everything till we're old, enjoy life, taste all the flavors. So on the final note on World Food Day specifically, what's your words to people, our viewers?
Okay, on today, celebrating World Food Day, I want to encourage you to make better dietary choices as regards your health, lifestyle change, knowing that you need to be long-term and short-term thinking in the things you do, in what you eat. Like she said, we don't want to, it's heartbreaking to see that at 45 you are confined to a diet where it looks like you are losing touch with your kind of foods, Imagine being told at 45 you can't eat chicken again, you can't eat this anymore because of bad lifestyle practice. And also know that your dietary choices affect your health, whether you are young, whether you are old. It's nothing like old people's sickness anymore. I've had to deal with people in their 20s who are probably diabetic, who are hypertensive, and it can be really heartbreaking. So daily, you need to ask yourself, what choices are you making as regards your health, as regards your diet, knowing that long-term, short-term, you want to be healthy. So as we celebrate food today, ensure that every day you are making the right decision as regards your health. Enjoy good food. Enjoy healthy living. It's not expensive. Because once you have that idea that it's expensive, you will make bad choices. So today we celebrate African foods, we celebrate the world at large, and we say that we're making better choices daily and we're combating hunger across board, across sectors, and across the continent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suzanne Dari, for your time with us today. And for all those who might be having the difficulty in making those healthy choices, sticking to it, you might just need someone to report to. Some people already have addiction to unhealthy things, especially soda, soft drinks. God, it's so cold and so chilled, and I know that feeling. I've been there. Let me not say I've been there. I'm still there. It comes once. It comes. It's almost like there's a season for it, and it's just I can't just help myself. And you might just need someone to report to help you. She said something, and I think that should be like a watchword to even someone like me. A bottle of this soda, a plastic bottle of it, which, by the way, is still going to lead to plastic waste pollution.
Yeah.
That's a topic for another day. It's about 450 naira. If I add 150 to that 450, I'll get one of my favorite fruits on earth. I love pear. The green pear that really looks like an apple is so juicy, so crunchy, so sweet. I like pear. So I could get one of it, and I think I'll still be able to deal with my desire for sweets.
Yeah.
It's sweet enough. And with that 450, I can get a good slice of watermelon and I'll be just fine. I'll still deal with the sweet tooth that is worrying me at the point, and keep the watermelon in the fridge to make it a bit cold and still be cold and refreshing. So we just need to be a bit more disciplined so we can have a better future and have a better life, live healthier for our children, for our families. We don't want to mourn people. The BP was so high, so he dropped dead. These stories are so common now, and we have to deal with all of this. I'm Daisy Leo Sikide. I want to thank you for your time with us today. This is in commemoration of World Food Day. Food is an everyday affair, so we can never stop talking about food. You'll be amazed tomorrow we're back again and we're talking about food. We eat every day. We have to eat. And for those who are also around you that cannot afford to get food, please show someone love today and get them something to consume. All right, have a great day and bye for now.